How is it going, everyone? It's Caleb here, and today I decided to go video game hunting. It's been a while since my last video game / toy hunt. I haven't really been going out and looking at any place other than just game stores, and I was kind of sick of going to game stores, and I figured you guys would probably be sick of seeing me record in the same game stores over and over again. You know, they're nice, it's fun to go to, and they do have different stuff every time I go, but sometimes you got to get back to basics, and back to basics in this case is a flea market that I haven't been to in probably a year, and I was glad to be back. You know, I was looking for some specific stuff this time. Mainly, I was looking for Atari 2600 games, and I gotta say, they definitely had them, and they also had a ton of toys. This place always has just an amazing amount of toys. Power Rangers, you know, you get, I even saw actually some Kamen Rider toys at one point, wrestling figures, there's Transformers, and this was a really cool Transformer. I had never seen that little blue tank before. I don't know who that is. It looks like it was missing quite a bit, like there's a whole back section that looks like it was missing, but I was actually kind of tempted by it. I do like Transformers. I don't really collect them as much as I used to, but it's still, I saw that in one and I had never seen it before, so I was actually tempted by it. And, you know, I was still looking for video game stuff, though. I was trying to find video game stuff. You gotta look in the cases, you gotta look in the bag, you gotta look everywhere, right? And I did see some video game stuff here. I saw Skylanders, and that was just a little spark of hope, right? Because if you see some Skylanders, that means that you have found something that is video game related. So that just means that hopefully, there's more video game stuff hiding about. And then I did find a video game. Kinda. I think this is actually just like a mobile game thing. But it was a good sign. I was taking it as a sign. There's got to be stuff here. It's some sort of video game, at least, if nothing else. You always got to check the DVDs. Always check DVDs and CD areas. I'm checking 8-track areas now, too, just in case. You never know. Maybe someone will throw like an Atari game or a Nintendo game in there. You just never know. So that's a habit I've been getting into recently. But you just got to check. A lot of times, though, in flea markets, games will be in these glass cases, and there's always a lot of action figures and stuff in these glass cases as well. And speaking of which, I saw some Star Wars ones, which looked pretty cool. There's an AT-RT there. Love that vehicle. That was a sick vehicle. There's some Clone Wars. I believe those are Clone Wars ones. They had a line that had some Clone Wars ones from the cartoon, and I think they had some from the movie as well. So I think that's from that one. But they had some goodies in there, some stuff that was pretty cool to see, actually. They even had some Power of the Force stuff. I actually like the Power of the Force line all right. I know a lot of people don't, but I actually have some nostalgia for it. I saw a bin of toys that was also behind the glass, so I couldn't really see what all was in it. They had this interesting looking orange figure, and I can't tell what that is from. There's a yellow one that looks similar as well. If you guys know what that is, let me know in the comments down below, because it actually looks pretty cool, whatever it is. But I also saw some Hot Wheels. I collect Hot Wheels, so I do look for that stuff specifically, but, you know, couldn't really find anything. Had a bunch of cards. I don't trust getting cards from flea markets. I gotta be honest, because you just never know. You never know if it's legit or not, so I usually steer clear of that stuff. And finally, I came across a couple video games. Kingdom Hearts and Samurai Warriors. I didn't want either of them. But again, at least there's video game stuff. It's a good sign. You always find video game stuff in the cases. I did see a bag of Smurfs there, and I was a little tempted by that. I like the Smurfs, and I like little Smurf figurines and stuff like that, so I was tempted by it. Saw a little NES Mario Bros. Thing. I'm pretty sure that's from like a bigger set, so it's kind of weird that someone's just like selling the cartridge and not the full NES. Retro Star Wars figures, original Kenner ones. I know people love those. I think they're actually pretty cool too. I don't really collect them a whole lot because they are so pricey these days. Even some G.I. Joes there. I actually saw a decent amount of G.I. Joes there. More of the stuff that I'm interested in toy-wise. I like die-cast cars and stuff, so anytime I get to see any sort of die-cast cars, I have to check them out. You had some Johnny Lightning stuff there. I think you had some Winner Circle, I believe is what it's called. So you have some decent ones there. I used to collect sports cards. I don't really do that much anymore, but I did think it was kind of cool to see. And finally, video games. And not just garbage either, some actual video games. Xbox 360 stuff, Xbox One video games, PlayStation 3 games, PS2 games. They had some interesting stuff. And, you know, I was interested in one game particular in this case. I saw Scalar in there. That's a good game, but I actually just picked it up on GameCube not that long ago, so I didn't need it anymore. But there is one game I saw in there, and that was Morrowind. Elder Scrolls Morrowind. I was really tempted by that one. It was only $10, which isn't bad, and I actually did have someone come over and open the case for me, but the game was pretty grimy, I gotta be honest. Like, when a case has that much water damage on it, I just don't even want it, honestly. The disc wasn't in bad shape, but whenever you get like a case or like the cover art and the water damage to the cover art has just made it like so it looks like it's just black and almost moldy looking on the bag. That's just a no-go for me. I can't do that. I don't want that in my house. So that was a no-go for me. I could not bring myself to get it. I think I'll just stick to the PC version of Morrowind for now. And I finally found some stuff I was interested in. NES games, Super Nintendo games, Atari games. And as you can see here, the Atari games are picked through, but they're not picked through someone else. This is the aftermath of after I was done with it. I found a lot of Atari games, and I went absolutely nuts. And I got a lot of the Atari games I had never personally seen in person before, so I wasn't going to miss this opportunity. I grabbed a bunch of them, and I'm pretty happy with what I got. There was a bunch of cool different cartridges there, though, and a bunch of cool different games. There was even sealed Atari controllers still in the box, which is awesome. And I did look at the Nintendo games. Nothing was really calling out to me. You know, I am looking for some Nintendo stuff, but I'm very picky about NES and Super Nintendo stuff. I'm very picky about what I want, and I don't like paying high prices for this stuff because honestly, I don't like paying the Nintendo tax. You know, I didn't grow up with Nintendo. I don't have nostalgia for Nintendo. I don't really have nostalgia for Atari either, but Atari stuff is pretty much always cheap, at least cheaper than Nintendo stuff. But since I don't have that nostalgia for Nintendo stuff, I am a lot more I have a lot more restraint when it comes to buying stuff for Nintendo because I just don't want to pay that Nintendo tax. I don't want to pay the extra prices for Nintendo games that I'm not going to enjoy as much as other people. I did find another batch of games here, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I was actually kind of tempted by. You know, I do like some Wii games, but I was actually more interested in Winter Games, and I already have Winter Games on the DS, but they didn't have the Wii version of it. If they had the Wii version of of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, I would have gotten it, but they didn't have it, so I'll just pass on the regular version of it. I don't really need it that much. So always have to check, though. Always double check. You know, check through the DVDs, check through the Blu-rays, make sure that there's nothing that you're missing. I did see something interesting down there that I wanted to check out, and it was buried. But you can see what it is. It's Masters of the Universe. And there was also games around it. I found some Wii games that I didn't want. I saw Finding Nemo down there. I saw in the CDs, I found Jurassic World. I already have this game, but $5 for it, that's not bad. It usually goes for a little bit more than that, so that's pretty cool. I think that's actually called The Lost World Jurassic Park, so, but still pretty cool to see. And yeah, I saw that He-Man Masters of the Universe down there, and it's actually from the 2000 series, which I thought was really cool. I don't have really anything from the 2000 series, and I was kind of tempted by it, but I don't really collect VHS tapes anymore. Was cool to see, though. $4 is not a bad price on it, I don't think. I mean, that's cheaper than what you're going to find it for online, but I don't need to collect for more stuff. You know, the stuff I collect for is basically video games and Hot Wheels, and I'm kind of sticking to that stuff these days. I don't want to start another collection. I kept finding these pieces of what looked to be like arcade boards. It's like the joystick. It's like the front of an arcade. I kept finding them. I found the Sega one that you just saw there, and I also saw a Taito one, and I don't know what those are actually from. I don't know if they actually are just from an arcade and someone's taking them off or whatever, but it was weird to see them. This booth honestly just had a bunch of just junk laid around, you know. It was probably someone who just buys and resells, and this is the absolute disaster zone that he had created with all this stuff. But there was some interesting stuff there. It was just, you can see that it's just a cluttered mess, but it was fun to dig through, I will say. This was actually pretty cool to see. I saw this, what looked like a Star Destroyer there, or maybe it's one of the Republic ones, but either way, I saw that, and it's actually one of the Star Wars Transformers. So that was actually pretty cool to see. $12 for it. I don't know if it's complete or not. I'm not going to pay $12 for it because I'm not even collecting Transformers right now, but I did think it was actually pretty cool to see that. I kept digging around here because it's such a mess. You have to check. You have to check everything. I saw General Grievous's wheel bag. I actually got that in one of the earliest hunt videos I did. I actually have it complete in box, and it's something I had from when I was a kid. So it was cool to find that again when I found that. But yeah, it was cool to see it loose here too. And then I spotted something. I saw it, a little Atari cartridge, and it was volleyball. It was just volleyball. I have no interest in it. You know, I'm not going for a complete Atari collection. There's some games I don't want. I don't really care about volleyball. I don't want volleyball. I don't need volleyball. Volleyball can stay there. I had to turn on a light just to see in this area too, by the way, because there was just it was dark in this area, and there's so much stuff cluttered there. I just started looking, though, around because one Atari game, surely there's got to be more, right? Here's another one of those weird arcade boards. This is the Tato one I was talking about. See, it has the fire, it has the select. It's like someone just ripped them off the front of an arcade, and they're here. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it's the first time I've seen it. I also wanted to show you guys this on camera just because it was creepy. Look at the weird eyes on this doll. They're like whited over, and it just looks haunted. I did find Kaboom here. This I was excited about. It's not in good shape, but it's $3. That's in, I said if there's one Atari game, there's probably more, and there was another one. There was Kaboom. So I saw that one. I'm getting that one. I don't have Kaboom. $3 is a good price for it. I also saw this Atari catalog. I don't know if this is like a Christmas catalog or what. It's $3. I'm going to pass on it because I don't need just more random junk, but it was cool to see as well. And I did find a third Atari game. I found Super Breakout. Unfortunately, the third time is not the charm in this case because I already have Super Breakout, and I actually don't like it. I don't think Super Breakout is actually that fun, but that's okay. At least I still found Kaboom. So I did not leave here empty-handed, and that is the most important thing. I did find something really cool, though. I'm a big Star Trek nerd. I like Star Trek. I like Star Trek, the original series. I like The Next Generation, and I really like Deep Space Nine, and this is a PC game of Deep Space Nine, and part of me kind of regrets not getting it now that I see it here, but it's a PC game. What am I going to do with it? I don't even know if it would work. It says Windows 98 or something like that on it. It's an old Star Trek PC game, but it looks sick. Look at that. I love the graphics on it. It looks awesome. And it's some sort of Star Trek Deep Space Nine video game. So I was really tempted by this, but again, I just don't know. I don't collect PC stuff usually, so but I probably should have gotten it because I am a Star Trek fan. And here you can see the haul of games I got. Let's get into what I got. Okay, here are my video game pickups for the game hunt today. I got some goodies. I got some stuff that I'm pretty excited for. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I picked up Bermuda Triangle. This is one that I had been wanting for a while. I saw it online, and once I saw what it looked like and I saw the gameplay of it, it was definitely one that I wanted to pick up. And I love anything with paranormal kind of, names like that, Bermuda Triangle. So I'm going to check that one out. I'm excited to have that. Winter Games. I was looking for Winter Games for a while, so I'm glad that I finally found it. I've been looking for this since I picked up the Atari 7800 Plus, so glad to finally have that in the collection. Picked up a Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously based off of the Indiana Jones movie, so was wanting that one. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so definitely had to get that. Picked up Indy 500. This one requires the driving controllers, and I do not currently have those, so I will have to find those eventually. And I've seen them out and about before, so I know that they're not super hard to find. I've actually seen them multiple times, so I'll have to grab a set of those. It'd be nice if, Hyperkin or something made a version of it. Here is Kangaroo. This is a pretty common game, but I had just never actually seen it in person. So I saw it, and I went ahead and picked it up. I think this one was $5. Yeah, $5. And it was everything was 20% off as well, so that's pretty cool. So I got these for a pretty good deal. I got them for cheaper than I would have if I bought them on eBay or something like that. Yeah, Fast Food. This is a pretty cool looking game, little arcade game where you're playing as a pair of lips, and you're eating food and trying to avoid purple pickles. I'm assuming the purple pickles are spoiled pickles, and that's why they're purple. So yeah, that's the point of the game. But it actually looks pretty fun. Got another version of Coconuts because my copy of Coconuts unfortunately fell apart. So I got this version. And I will say that I want to put my other copy back together. It's just a matter of finding the right pieces, or basically just finding a replacement cartridge, right? Because the chip's still good in it. It's just a matter of finding a replacement cartridge for it. So that's something I want to do in the future. But I did get another copy, so they had that there. Get Dig Dug. Love Dig Dug. This is my favorite arcade game of all time. I do have the 7800 version, but I did not have the 2600 version. So I definitely wanted this. So that is pretty darn cool. Dig Dug is amazing. You play as this little guy right here, and you're walking around under the ground, and you're basically shooting this like harpoon gun that can also inflate them. And you inflate these characters, you inflate these little guys here and these dragons until they pop. But it's a fantastic game. Absolutely love it. Squeeze Box. This is a pretty cool looking one. From what I can tell, you have these blocks like coming in at you, and you are basically trying to destroy the blocks before they squish you. So that's the whole point of that game, but it does look pretty cool. I'm excited to try that one out. Towering Inferno. I don't know much about this game, but it looks kind of interesting just based off of the picture on the front. It looks like it's basically a fire, and you're probably trying to like put out the fire or something like that. But I've seen it in a few different lots, but I saw it in person. I was just like, well, this is the first time I've seen it in person, so I might as well go ahead and pick it up. I picked up Star Master. This is another game that had actually, none of these games I've actually ever seen in person before other than Coconuts. So yeah, these are all new to me. So I picked up Star Master though. Star Master's really cool. You can see what it looks like on the cover there, but it looks like it's a sci-fi shooter basically in space. Looks pretty cool. Excited to try it out. And you got a few different types of games there. So looking forward to that. I'm guessing this is like just difficulties, it looks like. So excited to try that out though. Got Kaboom. I've always heard good things about Kaboom. So I went ahead and picked it up, and this is a pretty rough copy, as you can tell. However, it was $3. So for $3, I'm not really too worried about the condition. The chip looks fine, and that's the important part. So got that. I also picked up Telegames. This is Target Fun. Don't know much about this one, but I saw it, and I was just like, why not? I haven't seen it before, never seen it in person. Might as well pick it up, so I did. Got Lock and Chase. Lock and Chase looks awesome. This is a Pac-Man clone where you are playing as a thief and you are running from cops. So think of like how Pac-Man works and you're running from ghosts. It's basically like that, but you're running from cops instead, and you're still trying to collect those little like kind of dot looking things. I think it's like gold bars from the vault in this game is how the story goes. So that's pretty cool. And it is one of these cool like little, I think this is one of those M Network carts. So pretty cool. Yeah, you can see Mattel on the back, so that's pretty cool. And you also have Burger Time here. I had to pick up Burger Time. This is one I've been wanting for a while, so when I saw it in person, it was a no-brainer. I had to pick it up, and you can see the M Network logo there, so glad to have that in the collection as well. Overall, I'm very happy with today. I'm happy with these games. I think that this was a pretty fun little game hunt. It had been a while since I've gone to that flea market, and man, I love going to flea markets because you can just find so much stuff, so much retro goodness that a lot of people just don't put much value in. A lot of people don't. A lot of that this Atari stuff is still there because there's not a huge market for Atari collectors these days, which works out great for me because I love collecting for this Atari system now. And ever since I got the 7800 Plus, it's just been a blast collecting for it. So I'm glad that, even though it's kind of a niche thing, I'm kind of glad it's niche because it just means more stuff for me. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.